What is up, fam? Welcome to another episode of Chili's in the Bowl. My name is John Gill. Today's guest is a very dear friend of mine by the name of ROLLIE from Brightlight Studios. I'm really excited about this episode, and I really feel that it's going to be for all the music lovers and musicians out there. We talk about how he got his start in music engineering, what bands he's worked with, and also we talk about his band that he's currently in by the name of Teeth. So without further ado, let's get into the episode. Master ROLLIE.
Master John.
How are you doing?
Doing all right, man.
Hell yeah, dude. Thank you for having me at Brightlight Studios, aka the Dojo.
Yeah. Welcome back.
Yeah, welcome back, dude. It's you got a little bit of sweet gadgets here, new gadgets that I haven't seen in a while.
I try.
What's this? The new Universal Audio? Is this new?
No, that's actually one of the oldest pieces. It's actually kind of retired.
Really? Are you serious?
Because we got it's actually a pretty nice preamp, but we've arrived at a place where I have more preamps over here than I have conversion, and that was like the least loved. So that's why it's on the shelf.
No, but I'm looking here on the shelf, dude. I mean, I've seen this Ampeg for like the longest time. I feel this has always been the same with that STV Pro, but that Omega head.
Yep.
And even that, was it the 5152?
That's the 5153.
Oh, the 3.
Yeah, that's actually belongs to a band I'm working with right now, Skullcrack. That's his. They're in the middle of guitar tracking, so we left it here.
And for those of the, for the people that are listening, we're talking about guitar heads.
Yeah.
For those gear heads out there. But yeah, brother, again, thank you for having me here. It's always a pleasure. I always feel like I'm home, even though this is the new location, not the one in was it Santa Ana?
Yeah.
By was it the Pirate Bar? Or
Malone's.
Malone's. There you go. But I mean, either way, like it still always felt like that it's like a home of ours. Yep. But for those that are listening, I want you to tell them how we met.
I believe we met because you were in a band called Concrete Washout.
Yeah, Concrete with Tony.
I believe that would be the first project we did together.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
And what's funny is we found out about you through Life Moves On, Jack Murphy.
Oh, no shit. Little Jackie.
Yeah, I don't know if I ever told you that. Did I tell you? No? Okay, yeah.
Thanks, Jack. I love you.
Yeah, dude, that's how we first met.
Holy shit.
Well, I first heard of you, and then...
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I could have swore I told you. Well, now you know.
Now I do.
Now you know. But, dude, it was...
Shout out to Jack, by the way.
Shout out to Jack. Shout out to Life Moves On.
Yep.
But, yeah, that's how we heard of you. And then... go on with the story.
And yeah, I mean, I believe that would be the beginning. And then I'm trying to think. Okay, we did like a few songs, and I think you guys came back and did a
couple songs.
Yeah, there was like 2 different sessions.
Yeah, it was always like a one-off. Like, here's we're gonna record one song and then 2 songs,
like little pieces.
Yeah, for sure. But with the other episodes that I had prior to you, like I always say, that it's just crazy how we have some sort of like a working relationship, and then it blossoms into like a really cool friendship.
Yeah.
Spanning almost now, I think, like 5-6 years, which is crazy because when you think about it, does not feel like that. But I was tripping out because prior to me coming here, I don't know why I felt the need to do a little bit of research about your the discography and bands that you've recorded and have worked with prior. And for me, it's crazy because I feel like your influence and what you have done musically has stemmed really into like my DNA from high school.
Oh shit!
Because you did so, and what I mean
I'm
by
inside
that,
you, John.
but what I mean by that is like, dude, in high school I used to listen to Antagonist.
Oh no shit!
I used to listen to
Those are some of my oldest friends.
Yes,
and
Antagonist, Dangers.
Yeah,
You know, well, you were in Dangers too.
Yep.
So, shit, I can go on and on. You did Stick to Your Guns.
Yeah.
You know, so what's crazy is like for me to listen to those bands in high school and bumping them loud as an adolescent. And then as I get older, you know, we cross paths and we start to work together. And now we have a friendship. It's like, fuck, dude. Like, really, I feel like I've known you and have been friends with you since high school because of the type of music that I was listening to. And, you know, that's music that you worked on. And, you know, I was looking at the website and all the bands that you did. And it goes all the way to like 2005.
Yeah. I mean, there's even shit before that, but it's like, I mean, even 2005, it's like I was still doing that stuff I'm a freshman in college, so I'm like,
dude, I was
19?
a fucking freshman in high school. Dude, that's so, you know what, like the age gap. But
yeah. But like, you know, like those records are like done in my bedroom.
That's fucking crazy,
like,
dude. That's dope, man.
Yeah, I mean, or like whatever practice space I was in for whatever moment in time it may have been. But like, yeah, a lot of that early stuff is like just me throwing up mics wherever the fuck I can and just making it happen.
Yeah, for sure. Like the MacGyver way. And
100%.
Has it always been Brightlight Studios, or was it always something else prior?
I never really. So actually, Brightlights is a weird holdover name from my partner at the studio, Roger Camaro, who's also another engineer. I didn't really have a true name for my studio. Sometimes it'd be early on it'd be credited kind of embarrassingly as Tough Guy Studios. That was not my idea. That was more of the collective of friends somehow arrived at that name. And then I think that morphed to Stu Studio. Final Fight, I believe, is credited with that.
Nice.
And then it kind of morphed into High Octane Recordings, because I think Justin Smith of Graf Orlock, Dangers, and a million other bands, Sweat, and I can't list his discography.
But it's for the most part, it's like it's had different name changes.
Yeah, it's kind of just been like me until I teamed up with Roger, which would have been in like 2012 when I like officially kind of like moved into his studio, and then I just took on the name of that studio, which is Brightlights.
Yeah,
and now this is Brightlights Basement.
Oh, Brightlight's Basement. Oh, so because it's literally a basement, dude. And I still remember the first time we came to this new location. I was just like, it felt like a speakeasy almost. Where, you know, like it literally felt like a speakeasy where, you know, you go in, you have to say a name, and then they'll let you in, and then you go down these set of stairs, and then there's another door, and then you see all these basement, these studios pretty much.
Yeah.
But I remember you telling me that they had to like specifically like model this for your studio, right? Somewhat to an extent.
To a point, yeah. So that's kind of a long story. I'll try to boil it down. Basically what happened was the spot we were in before, there was a weed dispensary at the end of it. And it's one of those really bougie, like as if the Apple Store was selling weed kind of dispensaries.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. Like the sliding glass doors, everything's itemized on an iPad.
I still remember it was like right on the corner.
Yeah.
You know, but they didn't hide it at all.
Hell no.
No, not at all. Like I remember Tony just be like, yo, I'm gonna hit up the shop.
Yeah. Which is fine. I actually never bought weed there, funny enough, because it was so like overinflated price. But what happened was weed became legal in California, and then they must have been able to get some gnarly capital. and they just bought pretty much the whole block.
No way.
The whole warehouse strip.
So was it one of those situations where they just told you, yo, you got to get the fuck out?
Yeah, literally a dude walked up, knocked on the door, handed us a paper, was like, hey, your lease is terminated.
Damn.
Because it was just a month lease. It's not like they could do that.
Well, I also felt that spot, it would just be bombarded with people, not just for the weed shop, but just, because they had all the little other warehouses that were working. So I remember for us, it was always difficult to try to find parking as is. So I can only imagine once, we got legal, you just get bombarded with a bunch of fucking potheads. Dude.
Yeah.
But for me, it always felt home.
Sick.
I contribute that to just like your personality, because the moment we met you, it was one of those situations where you just welcomed us. It wasn't a awkward, hey, I'm ROLLIE, like this is what my methods are. It was like you fucking first thing you did, you gave us a hug. Sick. And you're like, you better honor this dojo. Like honor the dojo, dude. So and immediately we're just like, yes, sir. Yeah, we'll honor it.
That's fucking funny.
Dude.
That means a lot though. I'm glad that because I don't know, I didn't it's not like I consciously set out to do that, but I'm glad that that's the vibe that.
Oh, absolutely. I think it also helps.
Extended.
It also helps that it looked like it was a house.
Yeah.
Someone stayed there because you had the bed on the top. Upstairs, and you had like the bathroom with the shower. And
luckily, okay, so in fact, you are correct in this assessment. There was like random dudes who were in bands that stayed there. That was literally their house, because they were in touring bands and they just kind of needed a place to call home in between. But I think by the time you guys recorded, that had finished and it was actually a studio only. But in fact, its origins, it was some people's house.
Well, I just remember RX banded shit all over the place.
Yeah, that's because Roger is very good friends with Steve Choi. Well, really all the RX crew, but the guitar player Steve Choi, and he also did a good amount of production work out of that studio.
Oh, okay.
In around that time, he's still involved here. I think he actually had he just put a date on the calendar this morning. I was
no way.
Oh, hell yeah!
Oh, that's what's up, dude. Yeah, I mean, and it's cool, dude. I just felt a piece of my childhood was in that studio. And when and just because of the bands that I would listen to when I was in high school, so I would see RX Bandits, all the road cases. I would see the stuff that you did for Dangers, all the posters, and I was just like, dude, I'm in this studio, I'm in the studio recording an EP or a song. And for me, I don't think I ever told you, but I've somewhat fangirled, because I was just
you're telling me now.
Dude, now I'm telling you now. I had this confidence out of the 6 years of friendship that we've had, and now I'm just dude, now I was
tonight.
I can find it out tonight. I'm gonna tell him, dude. No, but that's fucking dope, dude. I mean, and to take it back, for you, what was the deciding factor or motivation to want to even start recording or get in that world?
This is actually a very good question, John.
Thank you, sir.
It was honestly just I was fascinated with music and listening to records, and I just wanted, and I just remember from a very early age, we're talking 10, 11, 12, just wanting to figure out how they got stuff to sound the way that they did on records.
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, that age I would have been really into Nirvana, Smashing Pumpkins, Green Day, all that kind of 90s rock, Stone Temple Pilots,
the grunge era.
That's kind of the stuff that was the stuff that really grabbed me and made me want to play guitar in the first place. And then wanting to play guitar kind of logically led to, I just would record. At first I just make kind of little joke songs on my own, in my bedroom. And I think I nagged my parents and they got me this 4-track Tascam mini disc recorder.
Oh, okay.
Which pretty much works like a 4-track tape recorder, but it went onto mini discs instead. So the fidelity was a little bit better. And I just started with that and kind of just scaled up from there. Like I went from there, and then I got an 8-track. I think it was a Roland VS880, which is like a hard disk recorder standalone.
Yeah.
And then I needed more tracks because I wanted to record drums. So I got a 16-track Fostex thing.
It's always more and more and more.
Yeah, right? Like, look, you were just saying when you first got in, you're like, oh, there's new toys.
I mean, but same with myself, dude, with like gear. Like, how many
addiction.
Basses have you seen me with, or pedals?
Yeah, like you literally walk in with a new one every time.
No, I get it. No, continue, brother.
Yeah, so I just scaled up, and then after the 16-track, I think I finally, for some reason early on, I was like kind of averse to using my computer for it. Like, I don't know, I wanted it kind of standalone, maybe so I could like take it to band practice and do stuff there.
Yeah.
I don't really remember my logic. I'm like 14, 15, so
Yeah.
who knows. But eventually I got a sound card, an Aardvark Q10. This is like it was like a pretty low budge, but it had 8 channels, and if you got through Spiff, you could get up to 10 channels. And that was enough to do what I needed to do, really.
And then I'm assuming from there you were just like, you got a band, I'll record you.
Actually, no. It actually came to me. Like, I just recorded my own band, which at the time would be Fallen Angel.
Oh, okay.
And then we just started playing with other bands in the area, and they asked who recorded our demo, and I said I did. And they'd be like, well, would you record us? And I was like, sure.
Just
like, it was not like, I honestly never had the like, I am going to become an engineer, I'm going to be a producer.
It was just out of coincidence, like, and situations, and
it was honestly way more like I just did it, and I did it for my own band, and then the bands that we associated with liked what I did and hit me up, and I just started recording them, and then I started doing more of that, and it just snowballed from there.
That's crazy. So it's like almost word of mouth, and then obviously
100%. I don't even think I like had like a website or even like any kind of like much promotion for what I did for like years in the beginning. It was all just word of mouth.
But it's crazy because I feel like back in those times, the early 2000s, 2005s, and then my era, which was like 07, 08, 09, all the way up to like 2015, 16, it was word of mouth by the community of the metal scene, the deathcore scene, whatever, in that genre, subgenre, whatever you want to call it. And I almost feel like at that point, you really didn't need a website or a MySpace or Facebook. It was literally like, yo, check out my demo. It was ROLLIE who did it.
Yeah, like, my name would be on the credits of the demo.
For sure.
And like, I, probably also helps that I have a pretty unique name. It's not like, it could literally just be ROLLIE or my actual name, Erol, and like, they'd find me.
Yeah, for sure. No, I get
simple
that.
enough.
I mean, and that's literally how I found you. It was like, yo, when I talked to Jack, he was just like, oh, dude, it's Brightlight Studios. He never said, ROLLIE or Erol. He was like, yo, Brightlight Studios. I'm like, all right, cool.
Dope.
And
That's
then
funny.
From there, I was like, any, mini, money, between you, any, mini, money, mo. And then I was like, ROLLIE. That's the dude. That's the dude we're gonna pick. But that's interesting, man. And I could relate to that as well. As what Sedition is, you also recorded us with the last EP that we were going to release. And it was the same with us with our upbringing. It was a lot of just word of mouth and playing shows and just kind of getting ourselves out there. And that's how we were able to get some sort of notoriety. So I can relate in that aspect where it was just like, we were never like, we're going to be the fucking band to do it. It was just, we were playing shows.
You're just doing your thing.
Yeah, just doing our thing until eventually people started to catch on. And it was like, all right, cool. Like,
exactly. And like, I mean, I think honestly a lot of it is just like you mentioned, Antagonist, like we just played shows with them.
Yeah.
And then like they knew who I was from that, and then they knew that I recorded, and then they liked what I did, and they hit me up, and we started working together, and been working together like ever since.
Yeah,
I mean, they've done stuff with other producers here and there, but they just, we just did a full length last year.
Oh, really?
So, yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, and like I said, that's a band in particular that really stood out to me when I saw your discography, because I used to listen to them a lot. The Samsara EP,
Yeah.
and then the other, I forgot the full length album. I forgot the name of it, with the eyes. I don't know if you remember that one. I'll have to look it up and show you. But I know you did the Samsara EP.
Yeah, I did. For sure.
Yeah. So, but that was a band in high school that I was like, dude, this is sick. I remember watching videos of Nightmare Fest.
Oh, yes.
Dude,
Nightmare Fest.
Nightmare Fest with those fools, performing to that big ass
Nightmare Fest.
doing
Shout out
the-
to Pauly Salem.
Dude, that was the first video that I saw where someone did the Wall of Death for their set. I don't know if you've ever seen that video. Yeah, dude. So
I was there.
Oh, were you there? Oh,
Yeah.
there you go. It was literally, I think it was them with the Winds of Plague,
Yeah.
Jaffa Cowboy, before they all fucking blew up.
Oh yeah, it was like literally the deathcore was like
The
crawling out of the primordial
Yeah.
soup and like learning to walk.
Yeah, for sure. So that's why I'm like, dude, that's pretty rad. I feel like my DNA, my childhood is embedded into Brightlight Studios, because
Crazy.
regardless of it not being called Brightlight Studios, I'm putting it under Brightlight Studios because it's you.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
you're here. So it's like, dude, my childhood is in this studio almost,
Whoa.
Yeah, dude, it's sick, man. I mean, and I'm not saying that to, kiss your ass or anything, but it's
I'm honored.
no, for sure, bro. And I mean,
honored.
the dojo has been honored, my friend.
Continues to be honored.
Yeah, so I mean, that's why I felt every time I would record here, I had to give it my all. You know what I mean? And it wasn't so much to like impress you. It was more to like leave my stamp here in this studio. Like, I did work here,
Hell yeah.
to say. And then I think that's why we had that mutual respect for one another, because it was like we connected in the sense of we grew up listening to the same style of music. You were in that scene with those bands that I grew up literally just like in awe of. But then also there were, I would say, the work ethic as well between you and I, where you would tell me to do a take. I was like, all right, cool. And we fucking did it. And then that was it.
Yeah.
We're like, cool.
Well, plus, you always came in like prepared, like always
Thanks,
prepared,
man.
always on your game, like never not at all.
Thanks, man.
So and like, as an engineer, that's what you want.
No,
like,
for sure, man.
you want like when they come in, then they just, you run them through a song, and like, even if it's not like the keeper take, you can tell like, okay, this guy knows.
For sure.
He's done his fucking homework. Class is going to be sick.
I still remember there was you probably don't remember, but there was that one session that we did with Concrete where we took most of the day to do the drums and the guitar, and I think I only had like 30 minutes to track four songs, and I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna just do it. And you're like, you got it? I was like, yeah, like, I'll do this right now. And we literally knocked out 4 songs in under 30 minutes.
I don't remember that, but that's
dude,
dope.
Yeah, I was just like, dude, I gotta go. Like,
Yeah, see? Well, it's a testament to you and your preparation.
Thank
and
you,
just
man. But I still remember things that I learned with you, and I was talking to Big G about this as well. There's different techniques that you do when you go about like recording, whether it be guitar, bass, drums. Live performances is one thing, and then recording aspect is something completely different. And I remember, and it was something as simple as me tuning my bass, dude. And I remember you telling me, like, don't pluck it hella hard, like barely pluck it, but because when you're tuning, it'll catch it, rather than when you pluck it, it's all over the place. You may not remember that, but that was something that stuck with me. It was something as simple as me tuning my fucking bass while we were recording, and ever since then, it was like that was something that I never forgot.
Sick.
So it's like I feel like I'm refreshing your mind right now, which is
that's.
But we also,
I tell that to like so many people.
I know, but
So-
I still remember like it was nothing but like us drinking a fuck ton of beer and smoking a shit ton of weed and just recording. Especially Tony, like Tony just constantly just getting fucking drunk and smoking a fuck ton of weed. But
I think on that, I'm trying to remember. I think it was a Concrete washout session where Tony came in like I could just tell like instantly. I was like,
he was hungover.
He's hungover.
Yeah.
Like when you just like see like I don't know, you picking up your friend and like they get in the car and you can just be like, oh yeah, there's a crater in you. Dude, right now. Like,
that was the first ever session that we did.
That's super funny. Yeah, I remember he walked in and he was just like, I could tell like homeboy was hurting, and I was just like, Tony, you smoke weed? And he's just like, yes. I was like, you want to smoke some weed? And he's just like, yes, please. To like nurse his hangover.
And me just looking like a fucking
he was
dad.
like, and like I think I just like brought him, packed a bowl and handed it to him. I was like, here you go.
I feel like that was the turning factor of our relationship. As an engineer musician relationship, we're literally like, this dude's fucking cool. And then I always felt like I was the dad of the group. So like
someone's gotta be.
So Tony was like doing that, and I'm just looking at him like, this motherfucker. Like,
son, god damn it, son.
Like, god damn it. No, but it was overall, it's always been like nothing but good vibes here. Like, it's my favorite place to come and do our stuff. And even with the stuff for Focus, coming and doing the drums, like, it was interesting because that was a completely different realm.
Yeah.
For me personally, speaking for myself, it was like, dude, we wanted to come to you because of the type of recording that you were doing, and Coda loves, how you were doing the drums.
Yeah.
So it's like, I felt like, and I was telling Josh, it was like having that like deathcore, hardcore element in the drums with like the reggae factor of like the bass, the drums, the bass, the guitar, the vocals with Big G. It was like those two worlds were just colliding into one.
Yeah, you guys really meshed those. In a very
cool,
organic way.
It was fun, man. Like, we like literally coming in here and just doing the work was like fun, and me just being in that room with Coda, just jamming. And to see. That was a different side of you that I had never seen before. And at first I was like, fuck, like, I wonder how he's going to like take it, what he's going to expect if it's just like a regular, reggae, with the chucks and all that. But I think overall that outcome of the recording for drums was super positive. Like I remember getting out of that and we were all just super stoked on it.
I mean, I just remember being fucking stoked because you guys just like, because I pretty much, I like kind of had you all set up to record live, even though you didn't necessarily, we were just really keeping the drums.
Yeah.
But like you guys were all playing essentially live.
For
like,
sure.
And he was doing scratch vocals too to like,
to kind of keep
you guys, because you're just used to hearing them, to keep the form solid. But I just remember being stoked because like, I was like, fuck. These guys are a good fucking band. Like,
thanks, man.
Like it was just a lot of like, we didn't do like a million takes or a million punches. It was like very,
very minimal.
You guys just came in and you just played the fuck out of your songs. Mm-hmm. And like, yeah, it was a very smooth process. And it is also like, I love, even though like my heart and like my background and, my niche of the bands and artists I work with is in the heavy realm. I love doing mellower stuff
for sure,
because like it's just, as much as I love my head getting ripped off, it's kind of nice like when it's not.
when it's intact to your body.
Yeah, like it's also kind of just nice to just listen to music that's not constantly assaulting you and beating you, and it's just like, oh, this just grooves, and I just feel happy.
I just remember it being a really laid back process.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, and like, you guys, it's Focus is very chill, laid back vibe. So
for sure, thank you, man.
I feel like, even though I don't really try to do this, like in like a mastermind sense, but like I feel like the vibe of the recording session translates into the product. Mm-hmm. So if the band is like hanging out and having a good time and like just doing what they normally would do, like when they get together, I feel like then when you listen to the record, it's kind of like
you're gonna give
you're
off
like
that
hanging
vibe.
out with them in
Yeah,
a way,
I
right?
get that, and that's definitely I feel with any record, I always feel it's very important to have to cut. The emotion and the vibe that you want to convey has to translate onto that record.
Yeah.
And having to find any way to possibly do that. I feel for myself that was. I mean, aside, I think I've done that twice. I did it when we did the Seditionist the EP when Tony and Brett were playing together for the drums. I've experienced that was the first time. The second time was with the Focus album, where we were literally playing at the same time.
Yeah.
Because I was always so used to doing individual tracks where it's the drummer first and the bass and so on and so forth.
Sure.
So I felt it felt like very natural to be able to just be in there with Coda and jam the songs like if we were practicing at a rehearsal studio.
Yeah.
Because then I feel like it translated really well into the album.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's no other way to do it now unless you're just gonna do MIDI drums.
Yeah, which is a it's a whole thing.
Yeah,
that's
a whole different process. But you definitely feel the emotion, even with Brett's drums when with the Seditionist EP.
Totally.
Like you hear every little hit that he was doing on the drums, and it's like it's different, man. Different than the MIDI. Different than
I mean,
computer
there's like you can get real crafty, and especially like sample drums in 2021 are pretty fucking slick, and they've come a long way. But even so, like you're never gonna get close to the nuance and the complexity of an actual drum performance. And you're also just never gonna get like you could literally take someone's drum parts note for note, and you can really zoom in and put in the velocities, and you could even shift them off the grid a little bit if you want to get really surgical. But you're never gonna make it you're never going to make MIDI feel like Coda, or you're never going to make MIDI feel like Brett.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's kind of why I like to do real drums.
For sure.
Even if the desired product is pretty mechanical and it does go through, some quantization and editing.
It's still the person,
there's still like that human element, it still translates. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I feel like it just doesn't make sense to, like, if I'm recording a band, like, it doesn't make sense unless, like, to, put them in a place that they're not used to being, like,
but it's almost
when
good
you guys
to
play
have...
as a band, like Focus, for example, you guys play as a band, like you're in the same room and you play the song. You don't like Coda doesn't just sit there and play the song by himself and then you play the song by yourself.
Yeah, for sure.
Then it's all
together. Yeah, I feel, and I think also too, it just depends on the type of method that you want to record. Some bands prefer everything to be individually tracked.
Sure.
I just feel for myself, off of the experience of recording the album, I loved when it was just like a group thing where we were all together to record, even though it was just for the drums. Like we were still playing with him.
Yeah.
Because it gives off a different vibe for sure. But to transition into the next topic that I wanted to talk about, aside from recording bands, like you're also in a band called Teeth.
Oh yes,
dude, and you are a master shredder, master dive bomber. But tell me a little bit about Teeth.
Well, so Teeth actually kind of spawned because so Teeth is really, in its essence, me and the other guitar player, vocalist Justin Moore. It's kind of our baby, per se.
Yeah.
Him and I were in a band called Wage Slave before that, which was more of a really kind of technical grind kind of a thing. It was way I mean, Teeth definitely gets fast, but like it was like way more techy and like kind of heady, and we'd kind of like been doing that, and we wanted to do a project that incorporated more like droney and kind of like doomy kind of elements at the time. And we knew that the drummer we were working with for that band like would not be down with that. Like there's no way we could get him to not play a million notes.
Dude, but listening to those songs, man, they're heavy as fuck, dude.
Thank you.
Just ridiculous. Like it's like obnoxiously heavy.
Yes.
Yeah, dude. I mean, and then I know you have like there's been a couple lineup changes, particularly with the drummers. I know that.
Pretty much only drummers.
Yeah, but I know the new
we chew through them.
Dude, but the new cat that you have,
Alex.
Is that his name, Alex?
Yeah.
Motherfucker shreds, dude.
Yes.
I was watching a couple videos and I'm like, yo, I feel like this is the dude that you've been searching for.
He, in 200% away, he is. Like, also, honestly, like, I remember when we tried him out, like, he came in, like, you know, said what's up, set up his drums, and he played a song which is Collapse on our full length The Curse of Entropy. That was like the song he used to try out, and we just played it all the way through from start to finish the first time. And like, you know, he was actually the first dude we tried out at that time. And like, I remember that after that first playthrough, it was like, fuck, okay. Like he really like he learned pretty much. He really learned what we had sent him like as a reference, note for note, and he came in and just laid it down. Like I remember the first time through, it was just like, that's the song. Like
yeah, but what I appreciate though is that you guys are like unapologetically heavy. Like there's just nothing else about it. It's just we're heavy. This is what it is, and you either like it or you don't. But this is where we're going. But I know that. Even back then, if you want to go back 4 or 5 years ago, I still remember you telling me about drummers. Like you wanted a specific kind of drummer that was gonna do what Alex does. So I feel like this was an ongoing quest.
Oh yeah,
for a drummer, I would say for 5 years or so.
Yeah,
you know, whatever, you know, however long I've known you, I remember that was always the thing. It was like the drummer. Like we need this kind of drummer.
Yeah, and I mean, because I don't know, like, I mean, I play drums too, and I've played drums in bands in the past. Like, originally when I joined Dangers, I was the drummer. Then I moved to guitar. And then I also played drums in a band called Force of Change until I wasn't straight edge anymore.
They're like, all right,
so, except for the 3 shows that they paid me to do after I broke edge, yeah. That was that for that band. And then I didn't play drums in bands for a long time after that. I pretty much just transitioned to guitar.
Oh, that's cool, man.
But I still like have the drummer kind of mind, and like anytime I come up with a guitar riff for Teeth or really for anything, like I'm always almost simultaneously conceiving the drums. Like
you could hear them. Yeah,
like I can already think like, oh, I want a blast beat behind this, or oh, like I want double bass, or I want a specific syncopated thing.
So with that being said, so when you're writing a song and you're hearing the drums in your head, are you doing any kind of like MIDI work?
Oh, 100%.
Because I see it, and that's the thing. I don't think I've ever asked, like, do you MIDI?
Yeah, everything.
Yeah, okay.
Everything in Teeth gets like pre-pro'd out. I just program drums.
Okay,
like,
see, I never knew that.
Yeah. I program them, and then like we play to them, and I record it, and then I send that to the drummer. But I purposely don't go, especially lately, I just program very skeletal things unless I want something extremely specific, and it's like unless I have a very specific reason for something that I want. Like
it's almost giving Alex some sort of blueprint.
Yeah, I just because like I don't want to like get like ultra surgical and program him in extremely like down to the note kind of thing.
Yeah,
because like as a drummer myself, it's like if someone hands me that, it's kind of like, well, you're kind of like saying like, I don't really care about your ideas. Just do what I tell you.
It could be very tricky. I can imagine.
And like, he's a fucking super creative and imaginative drummer, and he does shit that like sometimes I like after recording I have to like zoom in and look at it on the screen to understand what the fuck did he just do.
So
but I give him something skeletal, like, okay, this part is a blast beat,
like,
but
this,
like the
this
fills,
kind of section
the fills are up for grabs, and like, but also like, if you have other ideas, I'm open to it. It's not just like it has to be this.
You give him
it's
the
like,
freedom.
This is what I'm thinking, because sometimes, actually often, we'll have very open, like ringing out guitar parts, but really dense drums behind it. So he might not, like, if I just sent him guitar riffs, he might not know that I'm imagining a much denser drum concept than, like, he might not know that that's what I'm thinking to have there.
So overall, it's a very collaborative, relationship.
Yeah, and especially, I mean, when he joined the band, it was an interesting scenario because those songs that we were working on for that record, our second full length, The Curse of Entropy, those were already written and recorded, and he came in and basically re-recorded those parts. Now, for the new stuff, like we have a new EP that's going to be called Finite. This was like written with him, like it was all conceived with him. So, and there was more, a good amount of The Curse of Entropy was written. We didn't have a drummer in the band, so it was just me and my MIDI.
No way.
So for this new EP, he was involved in the whole process. So I believe I feel there's more of his input and more Alex in there than simply him playing drums.
But that's good though. I would imagine him just being really excited because it's technically like his first record where it's just him, his blueprint,
his record.
Yeah. No, but I trip out because for knowing you as long as I have, you're a very calm and like happy person, but I want to know what the fuck inspires you to write such heavy music, man. Because like, if for anybody, you could ask Coda, you could ask Aaron, to all those guys. You're such a calm individual. Like, I've never seen you upset. I've never seen you angry or yell. But then when I hear Teeth, it's the complete fucking opposite, dude. And it's like, so what inspires you to make heavy music?
I just hear it.
Yeah, for sure. But I fucking trip out, dude.
I mean, well, when you're not around,
dude, and you can get as deep as you want, my friend.
What inspires me? It's honestly a good. It's actually a very good question, John. I mean.
Dang, I got you stumped, dude. I got you. It's just
you got me. I mean, like, well, I don't know. I guess sometimes I'm not that stoked, and yeah, I don't know. Like, I just want to hear all the notes shoved against each other, and I don't know. I've since I was pretty young. Like, I think I found death metal when I was like 12 years old.
For sure. About the same age for me as well.
Like, there's just something about the energy and the relentlessness and just the sheer power that it can convey, and just how just
it's very
dominating and like crushing it can be. It's like, I don't know, I've just always been, it's just made me like it's just I fuck with it. And like, I love it. Like, and it's not even really like, it's a weird thing. 'Cause like, obviously, like the sound and the lyrical content and like the artwork and the themes of Teeth is all revolves around dark matter. Like, and death, fucking entropy, just not like the sense of not being able to control things happening and just suffering in general.
Yeah.
But it's funny, like when we as a band get together, we're just such fucking goofballs. Like we're fucking morons. Like and we laugh all the time.
But you guys have that chemistry.
Oh yeah. And it's like there isn't even like necessarily a connection between, like, even though it sounds really hellish, when like what we create in the end, like the most of the time that we have like creating it, we're having the best time and we're just laughing. Honestly, that's our like litmus test for whether an idea gets kept. Me and the other guitar player, Justin, like if we're sitting there with our guitars and we start laughing at how ridiculous whatever we're working on.
Yeah.
If it's like, it like kind of has to get to an absurdity where we just think it's funny, and like then the idea gets kept.
So that's kind of like, okay, if you like it and you guys are laughing about it, it's like that's going on the record.
Then yeah, like if it makes us laugh and it's like, because I mean we just, I don't know, like we've both, like we've all, but me and Justin in particular, we've both been into metal for so long that like we don't want to just do, like, there's so much in metal that's been done, like and like we want to just, like, we don't do this for like to make money. Like it's like we just want to come, like, try shit that hasn't been done, like, and we want to explore territory that no one else has like tread upon.
And I can respect that too, especially for this genre. Like you said, it's name it, it's already been done. Like what can you do that someone else hasn't already done? And I feel like, and I mean that's for any genre really,
sure.
But for the metal, the deathcore scene, it's like how many blast beats, how many breakdowns
exactly
has there been that you haven't already heard?
Exactly.
So I think it's more exciting when you just start to let your creativity run, and especially when it's with you and Justin, it's like a collab.
Yeah.
He could piggyback on whatever it is that you have already created, and vice versa. And then the same goes with like Aaron and myself, and at that time Tony. We were just like, dude, if we like it, for us that's all that matters, because we were the biggest fucking critics for the genre too, because it's like, what can we do, like how many two steps and breakdowns and blast beats can we do that's gonna get a reaction out of us? It's almost like we became so jaded about the whole genre, and so now it's like, if we like it, we're like, all right, cool, fuck it, we'll keep it. You know? And that's the beauty of having a collaborative team with you and Justin and even Alex now, where you're having fun doing it, and you're literally just, like you said, being goofballs. And ultimately I feel like at the end of the day, that will make for the great album, and you'll be able to, I feel like the people that will hear it, first of all, they're just gonna fucking bang their heads of how heavy it is, but then they'll be able to get a reaction because like, dude, this was a dope ass album. Like I can hear the effort and the everything that was poured into it. Like I'm feeling this shit. You know? So that's fucking rad, dude. I want to talk about your bass.
Oh yeah.
So to anybody that is not a musician or music lover, they'll probably just be like, why do you want to talk about a bass? But this bass is a specific type of bass that I feel nobody has. And I'm going to actually just let you explain why that is.
Well, I think actually, according to the maker of it, Callium, by the way, Skip Callium, he's the luthier. There's like 30 of these suckers out there. I think mine is like 32, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
And what's unique about it, it's called a Quake bass, and it's basically it's like other basses, except that the scale length is 40 inches. So most, I believe, standard bass is like a 4-string tuned to E is probably around 30, maybe 32 inch.
Yeah.
So this is like quite a bit longer. Maybe usually an extended 5-string is about 35. If like ding vols get to like 37, but this gets to 40.
Yeah, I mean, and not only that, the fretboard is just fat.
Yeah. So what that scale length does is it allows us to tune in a way that the bottom string is an F, but like essentially almost an octave below a regular bass. It's like it's fucking low.
Yeah, and that's I was just about to say for the listeners who aren't, like I said, musicians. That just means that you get a growly ass bass tone that will rattle your fucking walls.
It allows our bass player Pete to hit notes. Because actually, the guitar is tuned to B flat, but he has that extra string that goes to F below us. So it's like he has another whole string under us, and we do a lot of pretty complex chords. So that allows him to hit bass notes even lower than our lowest notes.
That's fucking crazy.
Which we often do. Like a lot of times when we're coming up with bass lines, we try to think of having, usually where people start with coming up with a bass line is, okay, what's the lowest note that the guitar is doing? Copy that, right? That's like the base camp of where you would begin. But having this lower string allows us to possibly hit notes like, so instead of like the bass just following the guitar in parallel, the bass could actually go, like if the guitar could go up and the bass could go down, so the voices can go out.
No, I get that.
Like having the music expand.
Yeah, I was just about to say it fills that middle.
Yeah,
with the low end on the F string.
And I mean, and beyond that, it's just like those low notes, and especially on a Quake bass, like when you have the scale length and the string gauge to really handle it, those low notes just sound fucking terrifying and just so
I can
heavy.
imagine, man. I mean, I have yet to hear this bass, but just from when you let me play it, I couldn't even bend the string, dude. That's how thick those gauges were.
Yeah,
I mean now it's a little better because like you said, you gave it the setup, but I remember when you had just bought it and you had me test it out, dude, I couldn't even play it. It was so fucking thick, dude.
Yeah.
But I'm super excited to hear this record because I want to hear that bass tone. For if you're saying you ran it through the Ampeg, I'm not entirely sure what kind of did he use a distortion pedal or not?
Oh yeah, we actually used two. We used the Horizon Devices Precision Drive. That's actually what
Mishas.
Yeah, what gave us like the
Periphery,
meat and potatoes of the distortion. And actually before that, I put in what's called an isosceles drive. My buddy Dan Baranowski, he started making pedals. He called it under the name Spooky Vibes.
Oh, nice.
Shout out to Dan. He happens to be the guitar player of Pressure Cracks.
Oh, really?
So
nice.
Shout out to Dan. And the isosceles drive is actually the circuit is based off the TC Electronics integrated preamp, which is it's like a drive / boost pedal. I believe Meshuggah's early records, they used it on that, like
no shit.
Destroy, Erase, Improve, Chaos Sphere. I don't really know about after that, but it's essentially that circuit. So we used that into the Horizon Devices and then into the SVT.
That's what's up. So I just bought a new pedal.
What'd you get?
So there's this company that I've been really high on called Source Audio. Have you heard of them?
I think sounds familiar.
So I originally bought an envelope pedal to give me that like slapping sound on the bass, but they have a distortion pedal called the Aftershock. I was pulling it up right now.
Ooh.
Dude, it reminds me, you remember I used to blend the MXR?
Yeah.
And then I'd have like the dark glass.
Yeah.
So picture that into one pedal.
Oh.
Dude, it sounds gnarly. And I have yet to use it for like any type of live performances, but I I was running it through my my dark glass 1x12 that I just bought.
Ooh, nice,
dude. And I had got this this Steinberger headless bass, and it just sounds crisp, dude.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. So, but I'm excited overall to hear the record in itself, because I know even prior to us starting the podcast, you were talking about it, and I was just like, dude, like, it sounds killer. Like, I could just imagine from seeing the Instagram videos of you guys practicing, it just sounds ballsy. But to wind it down a little bit, you know, I'm fucking super happy that you let me into the dojo.
Of course.
To have this conversation, because I do feel that there was a lot of things that I didn't know prior to, like, I mean, obviously, like, we've had this connection, we've had this friendship for a long time, but doing a little bit of you know, research as to like your discography and, you know, all that jazz, like, I feel like our relationship has gone even more deeper in, like, you know, for me, it's like embedded into like my childhood because of the people that you have worked with, you know, being in the scene for as long as you have. It's like almost, it's like I'm reliving my childhood, going back in my room and listening to Antagonists and Dangers and Stick to Your Guns and, you know, all those, you know, people. And so now to be here with you and like having this conversation, to me, I'm like, dude, fuck yeah. Like, this is what this is about, you know?
Hell yeah, brother.
Yeah, man. So again, thank you, brother. I appreciate you for having me. And dude, you know, we're going to record another album with you. So, you know,
let me know.
we're here, dude. All right, brother.
Peace.
Peace. Thank you.